Good evening.
Have you ever come out of your comfort zone in your life? From my childhood till my marriage, I was in my comfort zone and I would take any of the roles in my college or schools. For example, if the event is happening, they used to give me some opportunities, but I afraid or nervous, I won't take any of the opportunities in college days. Because I was an introvert person, I won't talk to anybody. I was very silent in wherever I go. So I was so comfortable with my zone, my people, and with them. I won't go out also. If I go for a workshop, I won't talk to people, but I gain knowledge from there. But the connecting with people is not that much till my marriage. After that, I got married and I came to Bangalore. My husband was a Toastmaster in Coimbatore, so he introduced me to Toastmaster, and we together found a club, and then he and myself came here for a couple of times, and then I came as a guest several times here, and then I thought it will suit or it won't, or it will adapt to me. I thought many things before joining this. Then I thought that we can give some tryout by joining Speechcraft. It suits me or not. So I came for 8 weeks Speechcraft. Then something has gave me some confidence to join in Toastmasters. So after that I joined Toastmasters and I gave speeches. Then I took many tag roles. Then somewhat I came out from my comfort zone and met some people. Then I thank my husband and the club member for supporting me whatever I do here. Then first time I came to Toastmasters. So it has 3 rules that kept me without distracting zone, because with this distraction we cannot concentrate on nothing. So there is a 3 rules in Toastmasters to follow inside this hall. First one, please switch off your mobile phone or put in a silent mode. If you done, please give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
Second thing, if you want to step in or step out the hall, then you hear an applause sound. Then third thing, we will not talk on sex, religion and politics. We have a wonderful woman in our club. She is from Punjab. She got married to a Bihar man. Her husband name is Krishna. She is very lucky because his husband is chef. She loves Rajma Chawal. Her husband said his mother is cooking Rajma Chawal. So she is very excited to eat Rajma Chawal, and also Parwal is the famous food in Bihar. So same that both the foods are made by her mother-in-law. So she was very excited, and she is going to dining hall. She saw a different Rajma Chawal. She asked the mother-in-law, "Is this a Rajma Chawal?" Did anyone know what her mother-in-law said?
No.
No reply, because he think in her mind. So he was only thought about that. Is this a Rajma Chawal? Like that. So he didn't ask her also. She did not like Parwal also. After years, her husband learned to cook Rajma Chawal, and she loved to we eat parvals once in a month. Then her taste buds also grown. So she adjusted with her husband but she loves Rajma Chawal. So we shall welcome our So now we shall welcome our Rajma Chawal queen.
No one before today has ever introduced me for so long talking only about Rajma Chawal. Let's give her a big round of applause. Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
I call to order meeting number 1519. May I request our standing secretary, Toastmaster Manish Goyal, to please read out the minutes of meeting 1518.
Good evening, Toastmaster.
Good evening.
I will present the minutes of meeting for Toastmaster meeting number 1518. So, meeting themes was breaking limiting belief. Word of the day for that meeting is transcend. Transcend meaning going beyond, to rise above. And the awardees for that meeting is the best speaker for the meeting is the Toastmaster Abhay Kothari. And best evaluator for the meeting is the DTM Rajdeep Marwani. And best role taker will be the Toastmaster Alok Simha. Best auxiliary role taker Toastmaster Rasi Palgota. And best table topic speaker DTM Vijay Anand. And total number of guests present in the meeting was 30. Total number of members present was 36 and guests present were 30. This is all about the last meeting, and I will hand over.
Thank you. But are there any changes? So the meeting stands up. Now I see a lot of guests. May I request you to please stand up? Thank you. And members, how do we welcome our guests? Can we have a big round of applause? Now, may I request the current executive committee to please stand up? Okay, including them, I am also there. So, to the guests, if you have any questions during the meeting or during the break or after the meeting, you can always approach any of us. Thank you very much. Please take your seats. Now I know that all of us are in the mood of debate. Yeah? So I took the liberty and picked a topic for myself. शादी का लड्डू, जो खाए वो भी पछताए और जो ना खाए वो भी पछताए. Right? So if you have to regret, then why not regret it after having the full experience? Yes? So let me start with taking a stand not in favor of marriage. Once upon a time, there was a guy. He was standing near a well and he was counting 21, 21, 21. There was a passerby. He looked at him, got curious, like, brother, what are you counting? 21, 21, 21. No answer. He got more curious. He went close to the well and bent to look inside. The man pushed him into the well and he calmly said, 22, 22, 22. You got it. That is exactly how I felt when I heard the news that one of our club's best bachelor got married recently. And to tell you the truth, he was not pushed into the well. He jumped himself. It was a love marriage. But to tell you the truth, whether it's a love marriage or it's an arranged marriage, it does not make any difference. Why? Because you step on a snake or snake bites you, the end story is going to be the same. Right? So earlier, he used to, on the weekends, he would go and trek, he's always traveling, and now he is deciding on the dinner menu. So, to tell you the truth, what marriage does is it takes away your freedom, you lose your freedom, and at the end you lose yourself. So make your choice carefully. Now, let me paint the other picture. Some time back, I lost my car broke up. It broke down, and to a non-repairable condition. It actually went to the spare parts. But something good happened. My husband started coming to pick me up after the Friday meetings. And you would say, wow, so sweet, right? But to tell you the truth, for the first half an hour, he is only complaining and fighting. Complaining because I got late, and fighting because I kept him waiting. So the first half is gone and wasted. But the other half is spent in patching up and listening and singing to our favorite songs. And we are singing at the top of our lungs. So marriage may not be very hunky-dory always, but one thing is for sure, that you get a companion and a friend with whom you can laugh with and you can sing along. Now, whether you want to take Shadi Ka Laddu or you don't want to take, that is completely up to you. But I must tell you, what is more important is that whether you are enjoying your life or whether you are happy, and are you able to illuminate your life just by yourself, and you do not need a second person to come and do it for you. Yeah? Now, I know another person who has not yet tasted the laddu. And she is fiercely free and independent. While we are checking our grocery list, she is traveling. She recently, in fact, traveled to a Hornbill festival in Nagaland, all by herself. Of course, we, the married ones, are envious, right? And on weekends, she is either running marathon or she's participating in one. And on the weekdays, every morning she goes and attends a gym. She's not only physically strong, she's mentally strong too. She's always ready to take up any challenge, and she meets it and performs it with beauty and grace. I remember she's not just a leader but also a great negotiator. So in December, when we were having our installation ceremony, we were looking for a place, and we were having a really tough time negotiating the price. I called her, she stepped in, she spoke to the person and brought the price within our budget. How she did it, I have no idea. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the powerful, the persuasive, and the phenomenal, our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Priyanka Rannorey.
Thank you, Madam President. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, a very good evening.
Good evening.
I want you all to reflect at a moment When you met someone very close after a very long time, what would be the first question you would have asked or observed? Anyone? Brian, what would be the first question you ask if you meet someone after a very long time?
What's happening?
Absolutely. Probably if someone asked me the same question, I would have answered the same. My niece is doing her master's in Australia. After a year, she came to Bangalore. We shared a very close bond. I was very happy to see her. The first thing I told her when I met her was, Dee, you have gained a lot of weight. She smiled and she said, yes, and I'm very happy about it. After a while, she mentioned, Akka, you know what? After living for a year in Australia, one thing I've realized. Over there, people, when you meet after a long time or you meet someone, the first thing they ask you is, how are you feeling? How have you been managing things? But from the time I've come to India, everybody has been telling me one thing. You have gained weight. And at that moment, my reaction in my head was like, damn, she was so right. I don't know if it has anything to do with the country, but for sure it does have something to do with the conditioning or the tuning unknowingly we have done to ourselves. One thing I've realized that when you meet someone, no matter how close they are, the first thing one should ask should be related to how you feel, your journey, or something more caring than something more exterior. Because none of us know what that person might be going through or has gone through. That moment I realized, and that moment was when I grew with a realization and my perspective expanded. Sometimes you just need a very, very small question or a moment to realize something that you have been following or unknowingly reacting is something that we need to correct in ourselves. I leave that to you if you ever discover that moment. Almost around 102 years back, there was a gentleman by name Ralph C. Smedley who also went through a realization. He was an American educator, a teacher at YMCA Santa Ana, California. He was very perturbed seeing young men lacking confidence in speaking and leadership. And that's when he realized and decided to create a very supportive environment where these young men would practice speaking, receive feedback, and develop leadership skills. That one idea today has grown as a global movement spread across 140 plus countries with 16,000 plus clubs worldwide. A typical Toastmasters meeting has 3 sections. The first section prepared speeches, where an individual, as soon as they become a member of Toastmasters, they will choose one of the 6 paths, and each pathway has around 13 to 15 projects. And each project has a certain guidelines, and the member well in advance prepares and come and present themselves over here. The second section is the table topic section, where an individual learns impromptu speaking, where a topic will be given to you. In a few seconds, whatever you comprise, you would learn or train your mind to structure that and present it. And the third section is the evaluation section, a section where every individual from the beginning of the meeting to the end will be evaluated and a constructive feedback will be given so that individual would grow a notch higher. To head that section, we have someone with us who is an avid reader, a seasoned Toastmaster, and a great orator, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan. To help him evaluate and guide him through this entire very crucial team called the TAM team. The first, the timer, a BCom graduate student from Christ College, Toastmaster Suraj Rao. I would request you to please read the guidelines.
Good evening, and my fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Growth happens through exchanging perspectives, and perspectives develop by changing ideas, which is done through clarity and discipline. And timer role plays a very important role in this aspect by ensuring the speeches are done in a sharp, concise, and effective manner. As an timer, I will be utilizing the cards, the green card, yellow card, and the red card. For the prepared speeches, it will be for 5 to 7 minutes. For 5 minutes, I will raise the green card. For 6 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And for 7 minutes, I will raise the red card. For the other speeches, it will be for 10 to 12 minutes. For 10 minutes, I will raise the green card. And for 11 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And for 12 minutes, I will raise the red card. And the icebreaker will be for 4 to 6 minutes. At 4 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And 6 minutes, I will raise the red card. And for the evaluators, they will be given a time of 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2.5 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will raise the red card. At the end of the meeting, I will submit the report to the general evaluator and the secretary to record the meeting. Thank you.
As in our counter, we have a CA, Toastmaster Chandrashekar. I would request you to please explain your role.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
As an art counter, I will be listening carefully for the use of vocal phrases and crutch words such as you like, I know, and repetitive words or phrases. I will keep track of everyone and report at the end of the meeting on who best controlled the use of filler words. Thank you.
As a grammarian, we have an investment banker, Toastmaster Mahesh Lokesh.
Last week, I visited my grandma's place, and during dinner, all my cousins were sitting and about to start the dinner. One of my cousins said that, "Let's eat, grandma." And I was like, I didn't sign up for this. And then my grandma started laughing and she mentioned his intention was to let's start eating. Good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guests.
Good evening.
As a grammarian for today, I'll be carefully watching your good usage and not so good usage sentences. As a grammarian, I'll be introducing the word of the day, and the word of the day for today is illuminate, meaning to make something clear or easier to understand. An example would be Dr. DTM Rajdeep Manwani's speeches are always illuminating. I'll be coming back on the stage when the general evaluators calls upon on the later of the speech. And all the best to the speakers.
It's now time to start the first section of the meeting. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Are you all ready?
Yes.
That sounds much better. Okay. Now, before I call the first speaker, let me invite the first evaluator. He is an author. He's written a book called Grits with Guts. an entrepreneur, and a CFO. Please join me in welcoming the first evaluator, Toastmaster Ganesh Pai.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening.
Good evening.
The speaker is attempting project from level 1, persuasive influence. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Member, please note speech is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to speaker and back to the Toastmasters.
The first speaker is a technical lead at a semiconductor software R&D. He is the youngest of his 7 siblings and is being raised by his sisters. Something that he really admires about his sister is they have always been his guiding force in everything that he has done in his life. A book that he really follows and admires is The Alchemist, as this book taught him that journey matters, not the destination. Please join me in welcoming our first speaker with the speech title, The Hidden Index. The Hidden Index, Toastmaster Govind Kumar.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
We usually associate index with numbers. It tells us whether we are exceeding or forwarding or we are going. It tells us whether we are gaining or we are losing. It is basically the scorecard for the society. There are multiple types of indices like cost of living index, the amount of money one needs to survive in a particular locality, with a particular lifestyle. The stock market index, how companies are performing financially. The happiness index, how happy the people of a country are. Let me tell you, there is one more type of index which is being used by researchers to find the impact of a social norm which is prevailing in the society from generations. In India, that particular index is known as the IPI, the Indian Patriarchy Index. It uses 12 indicators to find out how patriarchy is prevailing in a society. It is generally categorized among the family structure, the education, and the earning pattern. Sometimes the patriarchy is very obvious to find out, like the discrimination or the unequal opportunities and others. But many times it is more hidden within the behaviors, tradition, or the language or the satires we do. Many of you know I have spoken on the patriarchy before in speech card also. Then what made me to speak on it again? The news which I heard in a recent time. Recently, I heard about the female feticide in United Kingdom by the elite members of the society. Those are well-literate, educated, are the Indians, which are the second generation Indians staying in the United Kingdom. On March 5th, when the whole world was preparing to celebrate Women's Day, a media report busted a racket of extraction and sale of eggs from women in the Maharashtra district of Bangalore. That is the sheer exploitation of women's body. Patriarchy not only discriminates women, it makes them feel guilty of raising their voice or concern related to any discomfort. It makes them believe that they are the one who has to follow the rules and regulations. Almost every festival which is being celebrated across community in India brings up additional workload on women, whether it's cooking, cleaning, or hosting guests. And on top of that, they have to follow rituals. I personally believe sometimes rituals are the outcome of superstition of one generation, which enhance as a belief for the next generation, and finally as a culture for the all upcoming generation. And only women are the one who are responsible to follow these rituals. I remember an incident from my teenage. I was attending a party with my close family members. Few of my relatives were also part of that, and my neighbors. There were people from the age group of 6 to 60. While the refreshments were served, I overheard a lady, very respected and well educated, cribbing to my parents about her trauma and the discomfort she is going through. It got my attention. I tried to hear it again. She explained the reason for her trauma is not having a grandson to carry forward her heritage and lineage. I was shocked to my core. This is the first time in my life I understood how patriarchy has impacted our society. It made a woman believe that another woman is the responsible person to bear only female child. When in my school time, I have written multiple speeches related to discrimination, equality, and other social reforms. I personally find it very difficult to write about those topics because I have never experienced those in my home. For taking about 3 generations, my grandmother, without any formal education, a working woman. My mother, a non-working woman with formal education. My sister-in-law, with 2 master degrees and a working woman, all were treated equally. Even today, in my family, my niece, my sister, my sister-in-law, they have a better higher studies and degree than compared to all of us. We live in a society that we say we are very modern, but still we can see the patriarchy still exists there. Through various things like the gender pay gap, which you see, the unequal division of household workload, the satires or the comedies which do related to gender stereotypical, like the driving skills. At the end, I would like to say one thing. Let's remember, we should do the equality in terms of progress and thought. The hidden index illuminates the idea and the gap between what we preach and what we practice for equality. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Govind, for sharing us the stark difference that still exists in our country. Not many of us have experienced it, but they are a section of people who still experience that difference. Let's give our speaker a huge round of applause. Before I invite the second speaker, let me invite the evaluator. The evaluator is a podcast producer who has interviewed more than 100 founders. One of the stark moments that he has observed when he met a stranger at Lal Bagh and made him realize that one should always focus on oneself than focusing on others or trying to change others. And this has had a huge influence on him. Please join me in welcoming the second evaluator, Toastmaster Puneeth Suraana.
The purpose of this project is for a member to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. Originally it was intended for 18 to 22 minutes. Time of please know it's truncated to 10 to 12 minutes. And all the best for the speaker. Back to you, Toastmaster Puneeth.
Thank you, Toastmaster Puneeth. The second speaker runs a proprietary firm on garments where he exports to Germany. His favorite book is also Alchemist, which also made him realize that perspectives are not the same, they keep changing with time. And a person that has a huge influence on him is Mother Teresa, who did something big when she didn't have anything. Please join me in welcoming our second speaker with the speech titled Paper Time Machine. Paper Time Machine, Toastmaster Jacob.
What object can transport you across a continent, across centuries, into the mind of a person who lived hundreds of years ago? Book. Correct. Whoever said that, it's a book. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Today my topic is how a book serves as a time machine. A book to me is nothing but something which can transport me in an instant to a distant point of time. It's not just paper and ink. It's a medium by which it can transport me to a distant land, a distant place where I learned new things. Think about it for a moment. Books have been written across centuries, across a long period of time, and they sit quietly on shelves, waiting for somebody to pick them up. And when you do pick them up, and when you open that book, that's the moment you realize that you are meeting somebody mentally across a long period of time. It's actually when two minds meet. It's as simple as that. Let me tell you about how a book can take you on various journeys. My first journey started with a book called The Alchemist. In fact, it's not the very first book I read, but it had a deep impact on me when I started my career many years ago. To be exact, 45 to 50 years ago. I don't really remember when. When I read The Alchemist at that point of time, it seemed to me that it was a manual for success. It had every pointer which worked for me. It strongly emphasized the belief that your dreams can become a reality. It strongly emphasized that you should chase your dreams and follow your heart. And that is what physically worked for me, because I was so fortunate to have been employed by a firm which didn't pay too well, but I was very happy with the job. I preferred working with spanners, nuts, bolts, and there were remarks at home when I came home at that time, full of glees, as to what exactly have you been doing all this time. So, coming back to this particular book, it took me on the first journey, a journey of sorts, where it drove in those fundamental principles which gave me a lot of foundation to take me through my first job. And when I read that book, I took a paper and pencil and I started underlining the important sentences which came across very strongly and which resonated with me very well. I made notes on the margins. Of course, I had an elder sister who remarked, "You stop defacing these books. Stop writing on these margins. I would like to read it without your notes at the side." But I persisted. I wrote all those little notes at the side. And I'm really glad I did it, because many years later, it led me to my second journey. I opened this book and I felt that somehow lines which I had wrote on the margins or underlined seemed to have deeper meaning. And it seemed to me that the book had changed. But let me tell you, fellow Toastmasters and guests, it's not the book that changes with time. It's you as a personality. It's you as an individual whose mind changes with every book that you read. Your perception when you're at 16 changes dramatically over a period of 40 to 50 years, and when you reach an age of 69, where I am at, those single lines, those lines of poetry take on another meaning. So it's so important to pick up a book at any point in your life, to read it and forget about your siblings, write on what you feel on the margins. Underline it with red and blue and make it something which you can take through time. And believe me, that book will act like a time machine. When you pick up that book 45 or 50 years down the line, maybe you will have glasses which you didn't have a long time ago. But believe me, it's not the glasses which make the difference when you read that book. It's the perception of what comes across from those lines which really affects you. And you will believe that these books which you see stacked up in your library, at home, are nothing but machines for time travel. I remember many years ago, I read a book by H.G. Wells called Time Machine. And in that book, there was this machine which whirred, lights flashed, and the person was able to turn a dial on that machine and transport himself into the future or into the past as he will. But what I have learned is that these time machines, these books which serve as time machines, really help you in grounding your beliefs at different points of time. The beliefs you have when you are young, at 16, the poetry which really strikes you with deep meaning when you are 16 changes dramatically when you touch 20, 40 and 60. Each reading at each point of time will tell you how much more you have matured. And believe me, in the books, it's the experience which matters. The experience life throws at you. When you're young, you don't have responsibilities. But life has a way of teaching you lessons that no schools or colleges can teach you. Life is very cruel sometimes. It throws you down the ground and you don't have people to pick you up. And you should have the resilience to pick yourself up wherever you are, no matter how hard life hits you. And what gives you the strength is maybe books like The Alchemist or some other book which makes some impact on you. So as you go through life, look for books which will help you. Look for books in which you can underline something, some meaning, something which affects you. Write notes in the margin, and those notes and those underlined sentences will act as anchors which will take you through life. One of the curious aspects of having a book is that it always remains with you. And it's not that this book is going to change. It's not that this book will remain on the shelf without gathering dust. It does gather dust. It does age. There are books which were written in parchment or even on palm leaves. those leaves, those palm leaves, those writings which you may read, and maybe in your ancestral house, in your library, carries deep meaning. It may be those palm leaves have bound by a narrow strip of wood are crumbling, but it gives you a very strong foundation. The sentences which you read carry new meaning as you progress through life. It's just not ink on paper. A book is essentially just not ink on paper. It's something far more wonderful. And I strongly believe that if given an opportunity, you should do a very simple thing. Buy a book, keep it, and when there is a version of you which is mature enough to understand it, open it, read it. If it doesn't make sense, close it, keep it away, and maybe pick it up after another 5 years or 10 years. Open the book, same book again, and you'll be surprised at how different those lines would be to you. I leave you with this parting thought. It is so important for you to mentally grow by reading different types of books. It may be books which improve yourself. It may be science fiction which takes you to different planets. Personally, for me, I really felt that Asimov was a series of books, science fiction books, which was really fantastic. I would strongly recommend that you read it and continue or get into this habit of keeping books with you to improve yourself, and it will definitely get you a brighter future.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jacob, for illuminating us on the importance of reading. It's been few months that even I have gotten back to reading, so I can completely understand how important it is when it comes to doing things. Let's give our second speaker a huge round of applause once again. To the members, the voting link has been shared for the best speaker. The password is 5656. You all done? Just raise your hands. Great. Okay, we now shall take a short break of 3 minutes, and we will start. We'll join you all with the second section. Request you all to please settle down fast. Now we're going to start the second section. Today's meeting is a little different. Instead of table topics, we have something called as a debate. Let me explain to some people what is a debate. A debate is a format, structured discussion or contest of ideas where opposing viewpoints are presented, usually followed by a vote or judgment to determine a winner. It involves presenting logical arguments, evidence, and reasons for and against a specific topic or motion. The person taking the session forward is a veteran, a seasoned Toastmaster for 21 years. He started his Toastmasters journey at Dubai. When I asked him which book, he falls back every time in dilemma. He said, Bhagavad Gita. It is that one book that had a huge influence on his thinking and behavior. He has listened to the audio thrice and is now listening to the audio the 4th time, and every time he hears, he learns something new. Please join me in welcoming the host and the moderator of the debate session, the distinguished Toastmaster Gangaadhar.
can everybody at the far end hear me? Yes. Loud and clear? Yes. So I can throw this away. Okay. I think, thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster, Priyanka, okay. Yes, like they say, every coin has two sides. There's no choice. Including, you can see it perfectly in example for you right now in your hands, the West Asia situation itself. There are two sides too. Though, you need a mic? Okay. Hello? Better? Yes. Okay, yeah. Good. So, the best example is the West Asia situation itself. It has two sides to the same coin. A debate is a formally structured discussion. I think Priyanka has already mentioned that, right? And the idea is to put forward your points in an organized, clear, and convincing manner to the opponents and the general audience. You can use ideas, you can use statistics, you can use examples, you can use evidence to prove your point. Powerful language and adjectives always help when you're using a debate. The opener usually builds the case. The rebuttal rebuts the other team's opener, and the closing summarizes their team's opening and rebuttal points and reiterates their stand. Now, before I call the speakers on stage, there are a few things I need to just quickly run through. Is never alter or modify the motion. This is for all the debaters. If you have a motion, that is it. You don't alter it with a negation. In fact, instead you would probably say, I am for the motion or against the motion, but you can't say it is not the thing. So you can't change the statement itself. Show respect to each of the participating members and teams. You can always address your opponents as my worthy opponents. Be polite, don't be rude, and don't use words which would be rather insulting to the opponent. You are on a debate, but then it has to be done in a manner that looks nice. And once the opener has given his points, the other team members, such as the rebuttal and the closing, cannot be adding points to that. In fact, they will be only speaking against the rebuttal, or the opener will give his opening statements, the rebuttal will do the rebuttal of the opponent's opening statements, and the closing will close their team's opening and rebuttals, how it will be done. The timing for the speakers is for the opening speech from both sides and the rebuttals from both sides, it is 3 minutes. So for time you need to note, it is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You will have the green card coming up. There is no yellow card coming up here. And the red will come up at 3 minutes. And when you cross 3 minutes and 10 seconds, you need to start clapping. Others can join in the clap and ensure that the speaker takes his seat. So that's how generally, because you should not be going over your time. And for the closing, it is 2 minutes. So the opening and rebuttal is 3 and 10 seconds. And the closing is 2 minutes with 10 seconds. So similarly, you will have a green at 1 minute 30 seconds. There is no yellow shown. And red is shown at 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 10 seconds, you can start clapping, and others will follow. Now, before we start, I need to ask the team members for Team 1 and Team 3. So Team 1 is Toastmaster Suraana. Are all your team members present? And you're following the same order that you gave me? Yes. Given that situation, I will be calling the team members and giving them the place where they should be sitting. Please hold your applause until I tell you to clap. So to start, for Team 1, which is called Mic Drop. Am I right? The opening speaker is Toastmaster Abhinava Shastri. The rebuttal speaker for the team is Shreya Sadhgul. And the closing speaker is the captain himself, Toastmaster Alagammai. 14.3, which is called Debate Dynamos. Can I see the captain, Chaitra? Okay. Is your team members all present?
Yes.
And you're following the same order you gave me?
Yes.
Wonderful. So we have the opening speaker, who's Surya Prakash. We have the rebuttal speaker, Vishal Kumar. And we have the closing speaker, Toastmaster Chaitra Chandrapulai. Now, I'm going to be sitting down. This will be very odd for them to sit and be standing like this, right? Okay. The format for a debate goes in as we have the opening speaker who's speaking for or against a subject. I'll give you the motion now in a few minutes. After which we have the opener for the other team. Having finished the opening statement, which is the 3-minute speech, then the rebuttal is going to rebut the opener, and this rebuttal will rebut the other side. Now I will be calling out accordingly, they will be taking up the stage. And finally, we will have the closing speaker of both sides. Okay? Now you may give a round of thundering applause for all of them. Without wasting much time, the motion for the two teams here is technology advancement is threatening human creativity. I repeat, technology advancement is threatening human creativity, and a debate usually starts with the opening speaker who speaks for the motion. So I would request Toastmaster Abhinava to start speaking on for the subject, for the motion.
Thank you, moderator.
On the mic.
I think I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, moderator. Good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
I speak for the motion where technology advancements is threatening human creativity. But to start this off, I would like to just point out one simple thing. If you're a student and your teacher has assigned you an assignment to finish in a few days, or if it's some recipe that you want to curate to impress your mother-in-law, or if it's simply just a book that you want to finish but you're too darn impatient, well, you want to find something that is convenient to help you finish whatever that you're trying to do on your work. Convenience will easily combat this friction that's stopping you. But it is the friction itself that will help you be creative. It is a constraint, it is a challenge that stops you, that helps you think, brainstorm, that will create that idea that no one else can. Say you want to use Wikipedia, any AI or Reddit or YouTube, whatever that you use, you're outsourcing the information. That alone stops that creative muscle in your brain then and there to finish whatever work that you want to do. It's convenient for that moment, but in the long run, it ruins your ability to think creatively. Second of all, for the sake of technology, I would like to point out that our attention spans are growing to be 6 seconds overall for the Gen Z audience. If you talked about finishing a big assignment, you must have heard of this term called shallow work and deep work. Deep work is where you finish your work in an uninterrupted manner, completely focused, But shallow work is where you are studying for 5 minutes, moving on because of you got a notification from your phone and scrolling for 30 minutes, replying to a message's friend for 15 minutes, getting back to your studies, but then immediately get another notification. Sounds familiar, right? It's a loop of procrastination, the most famous word that we have in Gen Z language. Now, what's causing all this nuisance again in the shallow work? It's the social media, part of the technology, part of the development that is supposedly supposed to help us. Third of all, I would like to address that our skills to think creatively, it's decaying in a manner that we didn't expect. We have that technology that we innovatively created, that software, that tool, that website that we created to help humanity. It is helping us, it is making everything easier for us. But at what cost? You are outsourcing information to polish your essay. You are using ChatGPT. Yes, it's beautiful. You are getting an A+ for your grade. But in the long term, what would happen? You are losing it. You are losing your creative muscle. It's growing weaker. Hence, I would like to conclude.
This was not an applause for the speaker, it was for the timing. So we should hold our applause till all the speakers have finished, but this was more for the timing rather than for the speaker. We move on from here to the opening speaker, who's going to be speaking against the motion, technology advancement is threatening human creativity. Toastmaster Suraj Rao.
Feeling like standing at the edge, maybe I'll use the podium. Yeah. So, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, good evening.
Good evening.
The motion before us is that technology advancement is threatening human creativity. We, on the negative side, do not merely disagree. We find this premise fundamentally flawed. History and reality prove that technology does not replace human imagination and creativity. Rather, it unleashes it. Today, my team will dismantle the motion by establishing 3 irrefutable points. First one, the historical panic is always wrong. The second point, democratization of creativity. Third point, sparring assistant. Okay, let's look at the historical panic. Right? History is a long list of people being terrified at things which become obsolete later. In the 19th century was the invention of camera. You know that roll, the film roll camera? The painters looked at it, they were terrified and shouting, "The art is dead!" What happened to those painters? The cameras freed those painters from merely replicating the existing objects. The painters moved on, they created both modern art and abstract painting. Then the invention of calculator. Let me ask a question. Did calculator kill mathematics? Can I answer yes or no?
No.
Moderator, note down, it's a resounding no. So it freed us from long labor of multiplications and divisions and allowed us to reach calculus, physics, and the moon. Today, we see the exact panic surrounding AI. History tells us the truth. AI isn't a replacement for human spirit. It's a new brush on a vastly larger canvas. Democratization of creativity. At older times, if you want to create a video content or make music, you need expensive camera and grand piano. Today, you just need an idea. Even a teenager in Bangalore or any part of the world for the matter can make videos and it can reach millions. Technology doesn't threaten creativity. It shatters the barriers that surrounding it. We finally started hearing from the common people, their voices.
Third, the sparring assistant. Think of technology as a replacement, as a superhuman assistant. In summary,
I'm here to moderate, not to go down things. So, from here we move on to the rebuttal speaker who is going to speak on behalf, or he's going to rebut the opening speaker who spoke for the motion. And for that, the rebuttal speaker, I invite Toastmaster Vishal Vasantikumar.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have had some tall claims by the opposition, and I believe that there are some truths to what they claim. Now, is social media affecting the world at large and making us less competent, stealing away our attention and focus? Yes. However, to say that technology as a whole is stifling creativity would be going too far. Let me take a few examples. Let's talk about 3D printing. Just a few years ago, this technology did not exist, and to even come to the end of a product's life cycle, it would take years together, because just manufacturing the prototype would take months. However, now we can use the principle and philosophy of fail fast, learn fast. Because 3D printing is cheap, it can easily be done by any college student, and they can come up with amazing ideas and amazing technology. If I had to do the same design using my hand, it would be very, very difficult. But if I had to use computer-aided design software, it would be very, very simple. And again, this has led to great technological leaps. Coming back to the point that it is taking away all of the creativity because it is stealing our attention. Now, bad actors are nothing new. Every age has had many bad actors who have tried to steal from us what we hold precious. However, that doesn't mean that the base technology or base product they're selling is at fault. It is the salesman, not the product they sell. Coming to the point of AI. Although artificial intelligence has been showing us signs of affecting our learning, it has also helped us improve our research in the fields of cancer treatments, in pharmacies, and a lot of space and aeronautical research. Now, would it be fair to say that the entire AI industry is nothing but a farce, a lie? Well, that's not true. There are bad actors, which I admit, but it is not the entirety that is at fault, but just a few. So I think we need to dissect what is at fault. Is it the technology or the people who are selling it?
Thank you. May I now call upon the rebuttal speaker for the team to rebut against the opening speaker against Toastmaster Shreya.
My worthy opponent used very complex words such as democratization, etc., etc. But don't you think that ChatGPT also used similar words? I am not attacking, but just an opinion out there. So to start, you said that teenagers can go online and go trending. But what about people who do not use social media? What about them? You cannot just leave them out. There are plenty of people, be it teenagers or old people or even young youth. A lot of people, for their own well-being, they're not using social media. How will they reach
superstars that you're talking about. Now, when you talk when you come to historical planning, so to your point of title, you say that camera did not, that art is not dead, right? Painters, whoever is good at whoever is good, they do go at their art sells at very high prices. And you said calculator, but can we actually count calculator in terms of technology? We'll just leave that to the audience. And there are many brilliant geniuses who who invented the zero. I think you should all know. And yes, thank you. So I don't think it just because of calculator it made easier. Because of all the statistics that people, when they do not use calculator and when they forget the calculator, they actually use their mind and they refreshes their own mind instead of just depending on calculator and adding how much is 1 plus 2. That is not advancement in technology. That is just people being more lethargic in what they want to do and getting even more lazy in terms of using their brains even more.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we move on to get the closing speaker against the motion, and I invite Toastmaster Chandrashekar to close her team's stand on the motion.
Good evening, everyone. My teammate Toastmaster Surya talked about how technology does not replace us, but it unleashes our creativity. We've all been hearing about all these fears, and he pointed out that these fears are overblown. Human ingenuity goes a long way, and however much technology progresses, humans always adapt. He also talked about how technology helps with the democratization of different fields and how it's actually ideas and not equipment that help us progress. And lastly, our technology can be used as a sparring assistant that helps us brainstorm and connect dots in a different way and much quicker. My teammate Vishal talked about how even though technology might have an effect on our attention spans, it does not really affect our creativity. Technology helps us fail fast and learn fast. And that is crucial because this opens up new fields for us, right? We have had the ability to go beyond what we otherwise would have through technology. So to conclude, I would say that even though people are scared of technology, nothing can beat human creativity. Humans are always adaptable, and humans will find a way to progress and to connect dots in new ways and expand the way our minds think.
Thank you. May I now invite the closing speaker for the motion to speak.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Our opening speaker, Abhinava, very, very amazingly spoke about how the convenience of technology kills struggle. He gave very, very apt examples like how ChatGPT kills innovation and our ability to think deeply. He very well spoke about how we all have attention fragmentation where every 6 seconds, instead of technology aiding us, we get distracted by whatever we are doing. And of course, he spoke about skill decay which is usage of when we write something and technology helps us autocorrect, is it actually helping us learn something new, or it's making us more lazy? Or why do you think half of us are not very good with directions? Because we are dependent on GPS. Coming to our very chota packet, bada dhamaka Shreya, she actually exposed how our opponent speaker used ChatGPT effectively in his speech, and in a calculated manner tore apart the calculator example as the wrong example to give. She also exposed how the opponent speaker tried to connect the dots, but it all added to naught. And by the way, that knot was invented by a human without use of technology. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Micro.
Thank you. And now a huge round of applause for all the speakers. Thank God they could shake hands instead of bashing. Right. Normally you don't move away, but then here, since we have a limitation of stage space, it's okay if one is sitting, but I think if you can stand also, that will be fine. Because it's not that you're showing your back towards the other speakers, it's okay, but then your voice is getting thrown up in better. So you could do it that way, left to the speakers. Okay. For the next round of debate, may I request the captain, Sitashu Ratan Shetty. Are all your team members here?
Yes.
And the order you have given me remains the same? Yes. In that case, may I request Toastmaster Rashi Palgotha to please come on stage. May I request the rebuttal speaker, Toastmaster Sitashu Ratan Shetty. May I request the closing speaker, Toastmaster Muralidharan Rajendra. And for the team speaking against, may I check with the captain, Toastmaster Abhay, if all your members are present?
Yes.
And the speaking order remains the same?
Yes.
Okay, given the situation, may I request the opening speaker, Toastmaster Krishna Rao? Please take a seat here. May I request the rebuttal speaker, Toastmaster Ganesh, to come on stage? And finally, the closing speaker and the captain of the team, Toastmaster Abhay. Okay, enough of silence. We can give a round of applause now. So on my right is the team that is going to speak for the motion, and on my left is the team that's going to speak against the motion. And the motion is: money can buy happiness. I repeat, money can buy happiness. And to start, I will invite the opening speaker for the motion to get her points across.
Happy evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. They say money can't buy happiness. But have you ever seen anyone frowning while eating an ice cream? Or being troubled by sitting in an air-conditioned cab and escaping the Bangalore traffic? No, right? So happiness might be priceless, but money is the ticket to it. Starting with money secures your basic needs. Money can bring basic food, shelter, and proper health care to an individual. And that is something that brings happiness to someone. A Princeton study showed that a steady income of an individual brought a lot of happiness because they were able to meet their daily and comfortable needs. Money buys freedom and choice. Would you not enjoy where you had the option to choose the work you enjoy? Say no to things or say no to your boss when he drained you out? Or take a break when life overall became overwhelming? Third, money reduces stress. It showed that financial stress was one of the biggest reasons for anxiety worldwide. So, would you not be happy when you didn't have to constantly worry about your bills? And what if they disappeared because of the power of money? What would replace that? Peace. And that peace of mind is the happiness in its most stable form. Money creates moments that truly matter. It brings long-lasting happiness. Imagine taking your parents on their first international trip while they're flying, looking down at the world beneath them. Wouldn't that bring a joy, a sense of pride in you as being kids? As being able to afford and show them world? That's not just happiness, but that's a memory for life. So yes, money does build a life where happiness can exist, grow, and stay. It buys security, freedom, and opportunities that can help you grow and create experiences and moments for your loved ones and others. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is more than enough to say that money can buy happiness. Hence, I stand for the motion. Money can buy happiness.
Thank you. May I now request the speaker, the opening speaker, against the motion to please address.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Good evening. So, I start with a simple rule. Money can buy comfort, but doesn't guarantee happiness. And I'm going to explain this with example, maybe acronym. Yeah, maybe acronym. Feel. So happiness is something that you feel. So if I take feel, F-E-E-L, and if I have to expand it, fulfillment, the first step. We can buy bed, but not sleep. We can buy a house, but not home. We have seen that some people who have nothing sleep peacefully. And there's a saying in Kannada which says, Chinte illadavರಿಗೆ ಸಂತೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ನಿದ್ದೆ. Meaning, he has nothing to worry. So he has nothing to worry, so he can sleep even in a crowded place, even in a station or anywhere. Right? That comes to the fulfillment. Secondly, it is the emotion. So what money cannot do is the emotion, underlying emotions that you have. Two people having the same moment can experience, one maybe experiencing joy and others being empty. And now if I come to empathy which is there. Now for people who think that money brings everything, we can look around the richest of the richest people. Yes, people, you can have money, you can give in, you can get people, but who stays? Love, trust, so that's what really matters. Look at the richest people, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. About their personal life, it's a struggle, relationship, it's not working. The last one is love. Yeah. So love could be, you get more money, you have money, then you want more money. And what has happened to Vijay Mallya and all of this we have seen. So you want more money, you kept on chasing. We also seen some bad moments, bad things that have happened, say Siddharth of Coffee Day, or even the Roy of Confident Group. So money, you'll never know whom they love. People will come, but we don't know whom they love. They love you or for the money they have, right? And the greatest example to summarize all of these feelings is that the Bhutan. Bhutan is not a religious nation. I spent almost 2 weeks there. They have something called as gross national happiness. So it's not GDP, gross national. That is based on environment, culture, governance, and so on. So they never look at the money as the major criteria. And if I will give you this Louis Vuitton, which is one of the expensive wallet, if you take it, how long will you be happy? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 day, 2 days? And that's what I will conclude with.
Thank you. May I now invite the rebuttal speaker against to rebut on the opening speaker for. May I request Toastmaster Ganesh on stage.
Good evening, my worthy opponents and audience. The speaker mentioned about going in an AC car and having an ice cream. But if you are stuck in traffic and if your wife or your spouse or kid is fighting with you in the car, does it bring you happiness? Yeah. Basic needs. She says basic needs can be obtained by money. But let me tell you, even animals have got basic needs. They eat, they mate. But are they happy? No. They may be killed the next moment. People in Libya, people in Ukraine, people in Iran, they are met with basic needs. Are they happy? No. They are constantly in C.J. Roy, Shashank Rajput, and all those things, all those names that he mentioned, were they happy because they were rich? No. They had a lot of mental problems, so they committed suicide. Third point, if you don't want to work, you can quit. If you have money, was spoken by the speaker. But I'll say, even if you don't have money, quit your job if you are not liking it. You find your true passion. Money will follow you and you will lead to happiness. She also says that money reduces stress. But don't you think rich people are stressed more? All the rich nations like US, they are falling under depression, anxiety. They are fighting against each other. Their gun laws are horrific. And they are committing suicide. They are involved in drug abuse. Are they happy? No. If you want happiness, you need to find happiness. But not through money route, but through some other routes. Let me quote Suraana Timaka. She came from a humble background. She did not have money, but she spent a lot of time planting trees, spreading love, being humble. She was really happy and she also spread happiness to others. My worthy opponent also mentioned about taking your parents on a flight journey and capturing it as a moment. Let me tell you, my friends, I have always walked with my grandparents and I still remember it, and I think that is even more better than going on a flight and making them uncomfortable. So go for a walk, which is free of cost. Don't worry about the money. You spend time, you give your happiness. Rest of the things will follow. So let us not simply equating happiness with money. It is not one-on-one relation, it is many-to-one. If you spend time, if you want to be really happy, it is in your inner switch. If you want to be happy, you can instantaneously be happy. If you want to be sad, you can be sad. But I tell you, money is not the foundation to be happy. It may be an enabler, but if you want to be happy, it is within you. Thank you.
Thank you. May I now invite the rebuttal speaker for the motion to speak against the opening speaker of against. Toastmaster Chandrashekar.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening. Good evening.
Have you ever, my worthy opponent, the first point that they brought about, that they spoke about, was about, just a second.
Can you use the podium? Podium is better.
No,
Feel.
The first point was about money can buy comfort, but it doesn't guarantee you happiness. Money can buy you comfort. So what is comfort? Comfort is options, right? Suppose I don't have money in my pocket. Do I have options? I don't have options, right? So as fully grown adults, we all look for options. That is number one. Money gives you progress, and progress is a sign of happiness. Do you agree with that? So money gives you progress, and progress can give you happiness. Now let me look at this particular acronym FEEL. Okay, so FEEL is something to me which is not tangible. It reminds me of a cat which is trying to chase its tail, which it never can, because nature has not made it in a way that it can chase its tail. So money gives you tangibility. It is something in hand. It is not something where that you are going after. It is something measurable, which money can offer. It is very well to make statements in the air, but the tangibility that money brings in is real. The options that money brings in are real. Talking of the GDP, very recently I read an article about the happiness index. So the happiness index, when you look at the top 10 countries, one of the measures, and my worthy opponent spoke about Bhutan and the happiness index and the gross happiness index. GDP is one of the factors which is considered in happiness index. And if you look at the top 10 countries, look at Netherlands, you look at Switzerland, you look at 9 of these countries, they rank among the top 30 countries in terms of GDP. You can check the data. I'm talking about, so this is hard facts. We are talking about options, we are talking about substance, tangibility, and hard facts. We are for the Thank you.
May I now invite the closing speaker against the motion to close his address.
Now, as we take those walks, slow and long, with our loved ones in life, as we experience life itself, we are reminded of two things. The points that my worthy opponents raised are truly awesome. They are really fallen, or they've really fallen to the disillusion of marketing. Marketing that says that you can buy things like ice creams, things that melt away in a few minutes, possibly being stuck in traffic, but the traffic can clear. Yeah, but when did we start mistaking happiness for fulfillment? When did we start mistaking happiness for satisfaction? Sometimes people get confused, and I think the society at large wants you to do that. Money can buy you a lot of things.
it can buy you ice creams, it can take you to forests, I mean it can take you to foreign trips, it can maybe even get you a helicopter to get out of traffic. But remember, happiness can last only for a short time, like that ice cream. But a tree that is planted can give shade for generations, and that satisfaction can go on forever. Money can buy you a Toastmasters membership, but it can't make you a great speaker. Money can never give you the satisfaction of seeing your audience laugh. Even politicians who pay money for people to sit can never get that. So as you choose the options in life, when you take a break, remember whether you want short-lived happiness or long-lasting satisfaction. So money can buy happiness. I think I leave that for you to decide. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We just next call the final speaker who is going to be closing his side of the motion. May I invite Toastmaster Vaidyanathan.
Yes, money is the ticket for happiness, as my opening speaker told. Without money, you cannot secure the basic needs: food, shelter, healthcare. The meal is important, and money gives comfort, it gives options. It's real, you need options. Money buys freedom and choice. With money in hand, you can choose your work. If the company tells you are not needed, you're happy. When you want to take a break in life, you need money. Money gives progress. And what progress gives? It gives happiness. You need not worry constantly about paying the bill, the anxiety. All this are solved when you have money. And what does this do? It gives peace of mind. This is happiness. Happiness is in the GDP also. They have given the statistics as told by Toastmaster Rannorey. The happiest countries in the world, Switzerland, Netherlands, have high GDPs. It's a hard fact. And finally, definitely, your old parents, they need to go on a flight. They need to see from the flight that experience. That gives happiness to them as well as the person who takes them. Again, I tell, money is the ticket for happiness. I am watching for money, money, money.
Thank you. We now give a big round of applause to all the speakers. Okay, before I close, I know that we've been having this debate for the first time. So we have all taken our baby steps here, me inclusive, as well as all the debaters. There have been areas where we may not have done the right things and we require to fine-tune and take it forward. And that's what we learn as we progress. For which I would just encourage Bangalore Toastmasters to keep having something more similar. So we start fine-tuning the way we do a debate. And do it in a very parliamentary manner and follow some rules and regulations. Here we did have some leeways, but it had to be given, so it is that way. Well, with that, I think we have two separate voting links for the best debate team. That's like the first debate, for or against, second debate, for or against. And has the link been shared already? Okay, the password is 5656. And with that, I would hand over the mic to the Toastmaster of the day and request the sergeant down, so any of the helpers to move the chairs away.
Understood what one should focus on and what should one learn from. Thank you so much. Let's give each one of them a huge round of applause. Now moving on to the final section of our meeting, the evaluation section. Please join me in inviting someone that many of us admire for his story, knowledge and information he shared with us each time he takes over the stage. When I asked him when was that revering moment he experienced, he said it is this very place. Joining Toastmasters made him realize that every time you come onto a stage, when you have to speak something, it's sometimes very difficult. And this experience got him into reading. And trust me, I vouch on this, he has a great collection of books. I've been fortunate to read a couple of them. So anyone interested in knowing what is the best book to read or to go forward is none other than our general evaluator, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan.
Toastmaster of the day. I never knew that I have so many collections of work. In fact, if you need any suggestions out of the book, then you need to reach out to Eapen, not to Vaidyanathan. Nevertheless, before I begin my evaluation, so let me invite the first evaluator on stage, Toastmaster Ganesh Pai.
Toastmasters, guests, and the target speaker, Toastmaster Govind in particular, a very good evening to you all again. Good evening. Toastmaster Govind took a very sensitive topic and took us through how it is still impacting the society, right? I mean, we talk about women empowerment and all that, but still the way he took us through the whole speech made us realize the kind of issues still plaguing the society. And Toastmaster Govind took the problem and solution approach to the whole issue, right? His project was about speaking with a purpose, writing speak with a purpose, and he took this approach. And let us find how he did it. First, he took a very unique way to introduce the topic, right? I mean, we have heard of GDP, cost of living index, but IPI, I mean, someone like to track some of these economic indicators. I was thinking, what is he really talking about? So, to such a sensitive, touchy topic, he introduced it in a very normal way, very well done. Second is, he mentioned a bunch of examples, one from UK, one from Maharashtra, in terms of the way the female, the criticize and all those, to demonstrate that it's not a local problem, but it has a bit of a global connotation and impact as well. Very well. And then he also spoke about some of the problems he has seen, right? With his aunt, talking about continuing the legacy of her family and all those. Very relevant and something born out of his lived experience. The third thing was, when presenting some of these things, he did talk about, he did mention how his family, grandmother and some of his relatives, members were so well educated. It takes quite a bit of male ego to swallow it and say that some of the relatives are so well educated. Very well done. Now coming back to some of the areas where Toastmaster Govind would have done a bit better. One is, whilst he took a very novel approach to introduce IPI, but he didn't give any color around it. what is the current IPI in terms of where the number stands and whether it is how is it trending in last 10 years, decade, and how do we stand globally. So there was no color on it, so some flavor on it would have helped. And while for the introduction was a bit long-winded. He started from cost of living, per capita income, and took a bit of time to go to IPI. It could have been quite quick. And conclusion I thought was a bit abrupt. There was nothing for us to remember and take away. So always remember you should leave audience with something to carry, and that's something I thought missing. And one of the feedback or other grouse was all the time you're looking at the left side of the stage. While I could see you were, Priyanka was nodding, Shreya was there, Chandrashekar was there, but there was a galaxy of good-looking men on the right side. You missed them, so that hurt us. So in a nutshell, a good speech peppered with examples, highlighting facts and evidences, and if you could dwell a bit on the index, which was the main topic, and sharpen the introduction and conclusion, and engage the audience on the both sides, I think from writing a speech with purpose, you are on your way to become a very impactful speaker. Very well done. Looking forward to your next speeches and back to the general event.
I think evaluator missed a great point because I was seated there. So that's the only reason you were staying at me. And he also mentioned that color was something which was missing in the speech. Because he left it to Jacob Eapen. He was the one who was using a different colored crayons to underline, isn't it? So the man spoke such wonderfully that I got so impressed that I started writing his name and then underlining Jacob Eapen. So to evaluate his speech, may I request Puneeth Suraana to come on stage. But before that, let us talk about both the speaker as well as the evaluator. But today, during the course of his evaluation, he also said that target speaker, he has targeted it very well. I don't know what target speaker means. Now it's time for Puneeth Suraana.
I was reminded of my sister who almost gave me the last minute, and she snatched it away. Okay, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
And Jacob in particular. Jacob, this is your penultimate speech in your motivational strategies path. So I will keep it broad and I'll dip into the details and specifics whenever required. Okay. First off, you started with a riddle which was bold to do. You had a relatable topic, books, broodings, and bestsellers. I think everyone relates to that. You also had a powerful and audible voice, and you have a sense of presence on the stage. Your height, your stance, your personality adds to that. You had a call to action and you gave recommendations at the end. So kudos for that also. And you had authoritative boxed gestures. They were muted and they were relevant whenever it was required. So well done on all of those aspects. Now areas of improvement, because this is a penultimate speech, I will keep it with a simple acronym FEST. F is for facts. We got to do facts check, especially speakers who are experienced. Whenever you drop a fact, you've got to make sure you have checked it beforehand. When you say like to be exact and then you follow it up at 40 or 50 years ago, or when you say lines of poetry, when you're actually talking about prose throughout your speech, you want to keep in mind there is a discord somewhere in the audience. So that drops your credibility. So keep in mind whenever you mention a fact, if you mention a fact, you make sure it's accurate. Second is E. I felt your energy dropped like a rock at the 8 to 9 minute mark, and it sort of just tapered away till the end. As if you were almost at the shore and then you just like gave up. I think there are multiple factors to this. Age, yes, but more importantly is breadth and how you use your voice. You see, you have underlined the book Alchemist like an enthusiastic young boy. But if you want to underline every single word you say on stage with emphasis power, you're going to lose out on your energy faster than Iran is losing out on LPG. Okay? So you've got to underline only when it matters. Emphasize with your voice only when it is required. Okay? So energy must be managed, especially for longer speeches. Jacob, this was a truncated speech. Had it been 18 to 22 minutes, I doubt you would have had the energy to sustain it. So please keep that in mind. You've got to manage your energy. S is stories. Like Vaidyanathan says, stories sell and facts tell. You spoke about books, and the most best-selling books are all non-fiction books. They are stories. Fiction outsells or dwarfs non-fiction. So you got to tell stories. I was yearning to see how would a young Jacob relate to the young boy in Alchemist who wants the gold, who wants the shininess of what gold brings in a man's life in a desert. And the Jacob, a few decades later, who relates to the alchemist, who knows how to make gold, but doesn't have a single gram of it on him and is completely anonymous. I would have loved that arc with you, what you related with the story. And probably, you got to mention the stories to the audience. Of yours, not really of the books because it's very public, but of yours. What stage of the life were you at when you got alchemy? What stage of life you were at when you started realizing that every time there's a book and you revisit it, you are a changed person. The book is the same. So I missed those trivias along the way. And T is truncate. Like every good author, or actually every good speaker is a great editor. And good authors' best kept secret is the line editor. The guy or the girl that goes through each and every line, making sure it's as short and crisp as possible. So Jacob, I felt there were a lot of moments in your speech where you went around and around and around about that one single point, which is that books don't change, you change. I would have loved had you gone deeper into different aspects of book, keeping that same central message in mind, okay? So to summarize it real quick, you had a bold start, had a relatable topic, a powerful audible voice, a clear call to action with recommendations and authoritative gestures. And I'll try a little single line summary of the fest. Facts tell, energies propel, stories sell, but most of all, brevity rings the bell. Thank you, and back to the evaluator.
I think he spoke about energy, the energy getting lost. The point he's trying to make is why can't we have the snack at the beginning? So that's the key takeaway. Please make note of this. I think both the speaker as well as the evaluator deserve a round of applause. Today I wondered whether the theme of the day is a lot can happen and a lot can happen after marriage, or the growth begins when perspective expands. Because the Sergeant at Arms came on stage and she spoke about her marriage. Krishna came on stage and she spoke about her marriage. And she also spoke about, I guess, Alok's marriage. And the best part is, there is a great learning experience for every bachelor boy who has attended this meeting. How women choose their life partners. I think this is the biggest takeaway of this particular meeting, because Sergeant at Arms wants to come out of her fear of public speaking. She married a Toastmaster. And our president loves eating rajma chawal and she married a chef. I think bachelor boys, you got the clue right. I think the biggest takeaway for meeting number 1519, this is something that I'm going to write in front of me in my living room. What women want. Okay? So now, Sergeant at Arms, let me begin by what Sergeant at Arms Alagammai did really well. I have been watching her speak over the last 6-7 months at least, but great to see you so confidently speaking in front of a larger audience. I think she deserves a real round of applause. But there are a couple of areas where I would like you to improve on. One is, I don't know how many times you use the word he and she.
For a while, I was a bit confused who is referring to he and who is referring to she. He spoke about Rajma, she spoke about Rajma, she spoke about Rajma, he spoke about Rajma. I think that he and she got so messed up. I think the number of times that she used was more than 10. I think that's something that you might need to be mindful of, so that I have lost track of what exactly you are trying to convey. That's one. And second, the time that you've taken. Okay, I think that she took more than 5 minutes, isn't it? Because she got so enamored by the word Rajma Chawal that she started speaking about it on top. That's, however, brilliant job, Alagammai. Keep up your good work. Okay, so I could see the real improvement in the way in which you speak on stage. Congrats. And Manish Goyal, I heard somebody coming on to the stage and telling him, Manish, you are going to be the acting secretary today. Okay, I think that he got the information just before this meeting began. But he did a fabulous job. I thought you were going to read out with a piece of paper, but no. He came on stage and he spoke as if he has prepared, and he also, if I were you, I would have forgotten. The best speaker would have been the best evaluator would have been the best paper topic speaker, but the order was perfect. I think that shows that you are quite young, okay? So brilliant job. When Madam President came on stage, she set the tone for the debate. She said, again, marriage, to or against, okay? And she gave 2 wonderful anecdotes. But I was wondering where it is heading to, because it is not related to the theme, neither to the word of the day. But finally, she managed to nicely link it up with the theme of the day, or the word of the day, which is illuminating. Okay, she says that it is for you to decide which is good or which is bad. Okay, so nicely done. There are few areas where the president did remarkably well. One is the clarity with which she spoke, and the usage of simple words, simple language, so that people can understand. And the third one is she ensured that every guest stood up and then take applaud. These are all the basic courtesies that the president need to have, and that she did it perfectly well. But if there is any specific point which I need to highlight as an area of improvement, it's none. Okay, so you did a fabulous job today. So congratulations. Is it disturbing? I think I'm getting disturbed. Let me switch it off. I'm able to underline, sorry, I'm able. Now comes the Toastmaster of the day. She called me twice, not once, today in the morning. And she said, Vaidya, how do you want me to introduce you? I know her for the past 7 years. And many a time she had been a part of the meeting where I was the Toastmaster of the day, and I have given almost the same answer today. But when she introduced me, all that she said was, the general evaluator is going to be Vaidyanathan. That's it. The guest is gone. Okay, and then she realized that I missed it when I was about to introduce him, so that's why finally, before letting me onto the stage, she introduced me again. I think wonderful, Priyanka, you did a fabulous job today. But I think she met me 2 weeks ago, and the first question that she asked me was, Vaidya, have you put on weight? And she is talking about her story with her niece. Okay, so that's how the president thought. That's how. Now you understood the psyche of the woman, right? And second, I was a bit confused whether she understood the theme of the day really well, or she misunderstood the words in the theme, especially the word growth and expand. Because she spoke about weight growth, and she also spoke about expand. I think, Priyanka, you did a phenomenal job. But one thing which I feel that you missed is the story or the anecdote that you shared today was not closely related to the theme or to the word of the day. It doesn't matter, any theme or any word of the day doesn't matter to me. Okay, I always speak something which is radically different. But I think you are so enamored by my presence, so I think you started following my footsteps. But nevertheless, keep your style, You look really good. See, in the sense, as a speaker, when you come on stage and speak on the topic. Okay, otherwise, a brilliant job, Priyanka. A lovely introduction to all the speakers.
connecting the speakers really well. And the best part is, this is the first time that I have seen DTM Gangaadhar Krishna shaking hands with somebody else. Always he comes on stage and he always did this. For the first time, Gangaadhar Krishna shook hands with Priyanka. Priyanka, you did a fabulous job. Is there any opportunity for me to shake my hands with you?
Right now we can do it.
Okay, I will do it after the meeting. And then what happened? Then the break happened for 3 minutes. I was mentally calculating because I was poor in maths, then I was switching on my stopwatch whether I can reach the toilet. 20 seconds come, and then I was trying to calculate how much of time it will. But 3 minutes is not enough. Then I came in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, but my request is 3-minute break is too. I think you might need to give at least 30 seconds more because I was counting. For a normal person to go to the toilet and then do everything what is needed and come back, at least 3 minutes 30 seconds. So my request is 3 minutes 30 seconds, 4 minutes is the minimum time that is needed for break. Please do consider the committee. I know we are hard pressed for time because today we had debate, so but that doesn't mean that we need to cut down the. Anyway, I did my job perfectly when we did it. That's a different story. Now, after the break, we had the debate session. It's a welcome change for the very first time because typically we see the table topics coming in or table topics being announced, people coming here on stage without preparation, they speak, and we get a true personality of what the speaker is. But today, for a change, the topics were, I presume, were given already, right? So I presume, it's not I presume, the topics were given already. Speakers came prepared. But the one thing is, the Toastmaster also spoke about what debate is, and then there was a repetition by DTM as well. So it took a lot of time, close to 5-6 minutes to understand what a debate is. And then, no need to be so formal. This is a place where we need to come and express, and we need to be really feeling light, and then it's a fun environment. You don't need to make it quite serious, okay? Because the way in which it was rated as if people are coming in for a debate contest. Okay, it's not a debate contest, right? But the best part is, there was one gentleman who said that, I'm at the edge of the seat, but he went to the podium and he started reading from the paper. Okay, I was looking at him, it is not because he was standing at the edge of the seat, because he hasn't prepared well, I believe. Ratan gave a wonderful idea. Fully grown adults would love to have options. What do you mean by that? I'm a fully grown adult. There are many people. You are giving a lot of bad ideas to the bachelor. Bachelor boys does not mean, fully grown adults look for options. It's always fun. Okay? And for a while, I was always confused whether the speakers were speaking for the topic or against the topic. Because especially the second topic, which is the money buys happiness or something, okay? For a while I was confused because the same sentence got repeated both the sides. Okay, who is speaking for and who is speaking against? Okay, the topic which is given for the second set of the speaker, which is related to the money and happiness, quite easy for people to speak. But the first one, which is related to technology, is a bit, okay, especially technology handicapped person like me, it becomes extremely difficult or boresome. Maybe a fun-filled topic would have made the mood lighter. And second is, we need to make it more lighter by giving topics which are lighter, as well as we also need to be mindful of the time. Otherwise, it's a remarkable endeavor by the committee to have started this debate as a medium of communication. So great job done by the committee as well as Okay, before the grammarian points out the mistake which is on the board, this is the first time that I as a grammarian has found something which is a mistake, because my grammar is full of errors like this. Okay, growth begins when perspective expands. The S is missing. Because if this is a meeting of yes and no, right? I think that they decided to keep it neutral. So I think S is missing here. So growth begins when perspective expands, it's not expand. Okay, with that note, let me also invite the tag team who is going to assist me in evaluation. So did I miss anyone? I didn't miss anyone, right? Maybe I need to evaluate myself once I go back home. So either you can come on stage and then you can give your report.
The meeting started at 6:20 p.m. The sergeant at arms took 5 minutes 29 seconds. The president took 7 minutes 55 seconds. The TMOD took 11 minutes 25 seconds. Among the speakers, Speaker Govind and Jacob were in time, and the evaluator Ganesh took 3 minutes 30 seconds. And Toastmaster Puneeth took 5 minutes 10 seconds. In debate number 1, Toastmaster Abhinav, Surya Prakash and Vishal took more than 3 minutes. In the second debate, Toastmaster Suraj Rao took more than 3 minutes. Thank you.
So, art auditor, please come on stage.
Good evening, everyone. Speakers Jacob, Chaitra, Rashi, and Abhay do not have any filler word. Abhinav Shastri, Surya Prakash, Viresh, and Murlidhar used one filler word. Vishal, Alan, Krishna Rao, and Ratan used 2 filler words. The rest of the speakers, there were 2 speakers who used more than 5 filler words. Back to the
Now the man who is on a move to go to his grandma's house. What is it? Please go.
Back on stage with a small gap, as you know, gaps are necessary. Let's quickly look into what are some of the illuminating sentences or phrases used by the speakers. I grew with my realization and my perception expanded. And not I. Something big when she had nothing. Book isn't just ink on paper. AI is the new brush on a larger canvas. A couple of sentences which was not so good. I won't go out. Could have been, I didn't go out. Thinking many things before joining. Could have been, I was nervous before joining. The word of the day was used 4 times, including myself.
Thank you very much. There is a link which has been shared on your WhatsApp group, and the password is 5656. So you can vote the best role taker, right? The best role taker, the best associate role taker, the evaluator. So everything which appears on your WhatsApp. I think we are 5 minutes past 8:30, so that's why I had to rush my evaluation today. But nevertheless, it has been a wonderful meeting. Thanks everybody for staying till 8:30 till the end of the meeting. But don't worry, there will be snacks now, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you. Punjabi Rajma Chawal. With that, let me hand it over back to the Toastmaster of the day, who is going to shake hands with me.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for such an insightful evaluation sprinkled with humor. Let's give him a huge round of applause. As we come to the end of the meeting, and the theme is growth begins when perspective expands, perspective is very personal to everyone, and the moment everyone gains perspective is also very different. So be aware and be open to change and perspective, and also at times be open to agree and disagree with people. With that, I would like to thank the committee members for giving me the opportunity to host this entire meeting, and I would like to hand over the stage to the president of our club, Toastmaster Amrith Kaur.
All right, can we once again have a big round of applause for everyone who came on stage? Before I move on to the awards, I just want to highlight this fact that what we experienced today, the debate, it took a huge amount of work in the background and days of work. And for that, can we have a big round of applause for our Vice President Education, Toastmaster Srinivas. And the person who made it really happen, who guided him and took the whole charge of organizing the event. Distinguished Toastmaster Gangaadhar Krishna. I know we have experienced something miraculous today, and we as the committee and our Vice President Education will continue to surprise you more. Now moving on to our awards. Before that, can I just say two announcements? One is the membership renewal. We have, the last day for renewal is March 28th. So I request everyone to renew the membership. And second is our newsletter. We have a deadline, so I request everyone to please contribute your write-ups to our Vice President Public Relations, Toastmaster Bhavna. Now moving on to awards, our Best Auxiliary Role Taker Award goes to someone who took us on a visit to her grandmother, Toastmaster Mahesh Lokesh. Best Evaluator Award goes to someone who came with a beautiful acronym. Feel? FEST. Okay. My bad. Yeah. Toastmaster Puneeth Suraana. In active listening. The Best Role Taker Award goes to someone who told us to be light and to make things more joyous and humorous. Toastmaster Vaidyanathan. Toastmaster Jacob Eapen. Thank you, Jacob, for sharing your love for books and inspiring us to be readers as well. There's a Best Speaker Award from the last week, and that goes to Toastmaster Abhay Kothari. All right, now we have Best Debate Team. And for that, the first round is won by the mic drop. Let's have a big round of applause.
We would like to thank our team owner, Shashank, please come. Guidance of the lockdown.
To the team, mic drop. Let's have a big round of applause. Oh, mic drop is For the next round of debate, it is won by the team Illuminati.
All credit goes to our team owner, Illuminati.
You know what? Actually, yesterday I told him I'll do it because your voice is sore, but I'm so happy I didn't do it. He did such a fabulous job today. Give him a big round of applause.
Once again, to make the meeting successful, I really am thankful to everyone's presence. So can we have a big round of applause for all the audience? I will quickly request our Vice President membership, Toastmaster Krishna, to please stand up. Guest, he will be guiding you and taking you through the information about Toastmasters and Speechcraft. So you can grab your snacks and meet him outside. Thank you everyone, and with that I close meeting number 1519.